Caught bluefin tuna on 3 jigs in San Diego, and I'm going to list them out for you. One of them has a surprise that some people aren't going to like me saying the truth about. The first one is the Giro Lures Tomahawk 350. This jig, when I started out with my buddy on my very first trip, he caught the first 2 fish on the boat with the purple Tomahawk. I'm going to come right out and say color doesn't matter. When I was researching, a lot of the old salty San Diego guys said the same thing. And from what I can tell, and when you research the color spectrum, they're not seeing what color this is down in a thermocline at 240 and below. At least as far as I can tell, they're feeling it. This jig, some say is close to an HD350. Both are extremely effective. I've just never used the HD350. I'm showing you what's worked for me. It's flat on one axis, so you can either let it drop like a knife, or it will have a flutter to it. Number 2 is JF Jigging. This is a Tungsten Sardine, so it's a 300 gram. I've absolutely destroyed fish with this thing. I overpaid for this in my mind when I bought it at Fisherman's Landing. This was the first jig they ever recommended. You can see the hooks are all rusty. It's spent some time in the water. What I love about tungstens is it's something like 1.7 times the density of lead. So you have a smaller profile for the same density. So this thing's going to get down in the zone faster. It's going to keep it vertical easier. I love running and gunning with like a 300 gram tungsten, 80-pound braid, and 100-pound leader, fluoro bumper or whatever leader. And it's a slim profile that gets down there fast, and I had no issue staying vertical with this. Now, my very first trip, we had a lot rougher water. It was 7 to 10 feet seas, and it was also near a full moon. So this third jig, and this piece of information that I'm going to give you is very valuable, because this is kind of an unpopular opinion, but I found it to be true. You don't need an expensive jig. It does not need to be name brand. Now, this jig here, this particular one is a Giro Lures Lazer Bomb. It's a 400 gram. It also has this type of shape where it's flat on one side, but it tapers on both axes there. And you see that this thing it has a good thrower wire, at least the gyro version. You see it's been bent there, but this is essentially a tuna bomb. You can look this up on anything like Amazon or whatever cheap site you want, but these are called tuna bombs. Gyro sells it as a laser bomb. You can get this exact same jig dirt cheap. And it's one of many cheap jigs you can get that are like clones. Like this thing is obviously a clone of a what do you call it? Nomad streaker, right? You have to catch a fish on either, but that's just because when I was on that first really rough trip and my buddy was getting bit on the 350, I was starting with the 300, and they were saying, you need 350. I didn't have 350, but I had 400. I jumped to this gyro, and as we got closer to the full moon, the bite got crappier, but I was able to trigger bites, even though I was told, I'd get bit on the drop with this. I never got bit on the drop with this, but what I did get bit was just burning this thing up through the water column as fast as I could. It triggers some kind of like primal reaction bite to them where they just seem to not be able to let it go. And so I personally have no issue speed jigging a slow pitch jig, or whatever piece of metal's on the end of my line. It seemed to be, I got 4 bites on a trip where some people didn't get bit at all, and a lot of the fish were kite fish. So I was able to manufacture 4 bites by basically burning this big jig through the darkness. I hope to not have to do that again for a while, because these trips are expensive coming from Oregon, but these are the 3 jigs that I've actually caught fish on in San Diego at night. And for what that's worth, I'll put links to them in the comments. And if you got any value out of this video, please hit subscribe. Thank you.